Chapter 27. Hey there, Bachan, grandmother, Naruto said with a small smile as he was watching Tsunade and another girl who was with her. He had finally found the last bit of family he had. Although his grandmother was supposed to be around 60 years old, she didn't look older than 30, and it was no lie when they said that Senju Tsunade was one of the most beautiful women on earth. Tsunade was just staring at the blonde in front of her that had just decimated the field where they were standing. The moment he turned, her breath got caught in her throat. The moment she saw what he looked like, that golden blonde hair, those deep blue eyes like an ocean, and when Jiraiya called him Naruto, she started shaking. He's a carbon copy of Minato with longer hair, Tsunade was thinking. After all this time she thought she was alone in this world, that her family was all gone, and now she finds her grandson not even 10 feet in front of her smiling at her. Tsunade didn't know what to think or do and did the only thing she felt was right. She blurred right past Jiraiya and Shizune and engulfed Naruto in a deep hug while crying in happiness. "And Naruto-kun," Suwanda whispered while hugging him fiercely as if he wasn't real. Tears were rolling off her eyes and falling to his shirt. "Baba-chan," Naruto replied while sobbing and hugging her back. He had finally found family and he was happy that Tsunade didn't reject him or leave him if her reaction was anything to measure by. Jiraiya and Shizune watched the scene with smiles on their faces. This was what Tsunade needed. She needed a small bit of her family back, and she got it in the form of her long-thought dead grandson. They ended the hug and Tsunade cleaned her tears while her eyes were still red. She crouched in front of him. "Let me take a good look at you," Tsunade said. Her voice filled with so much happiness which was intoxicating. Naruto just chuckled and rubbed the back of his head much like his father did. Tsunade was observing Naruto as best as she could. He had long blonde hair with bangs that framed his face and slightly covered his right eye. His eyes were deep blue like an ocean and he had 3 whiskers marks on each cheek. "You are so cute," Suwanda squealed and hugged him again, making the others' sweat drop. "I bet you have a horde of fangirls back home," Tsunade said laughing. She seemed to have forgotten everything that had happened today. She was finally happy and didn't want to let go of this feeling. "Speaking of girls," Naruto said, breaking the hug. "I'll be right back," Naruto, and swirled away into his eyes. Tsunade caught the blood-red Sharingan eyes but filed it for later questions. Naruto reappeared not even a second later with a girl in his arms and a small fox on his shoulders. Hinata had already been healed and was now sleeping peacefully. "Who is she?" Tsunade asked as she watched the girl that Naruto was carrying bridal style. "She is Hyuga Hinata, my girlfriend," Naruto explained, and Tsunade nodded. He figured that a fine-looking brat like him would already been snatched by someone, but she would see if the girl was worthy it. "She was kidnapped by Itachi and Kisame, but I managed to get her back and summon a healing fox," Naruto explained and turned towards Tsunade. "Can you check her just to make sure?" Naruto asked, and Tsunade bit her lips. As long there wasn't blood she would be fine. Tsunade's hands started glowing green and started scanning Hinata's body from head to toe. She seemed to stop briefly on top of her chest as if assessing the damage. She had a couple of broken ribs and dislocated shoulder, but she is fine now. "She only needs to rest," Tsunade explained, and Naruto sighed in relief. "I owe you Kagura," Naruto said. "Not at all, Naruto-sama," Kagura said and disappeared in smoke. "Look at the mess you made," Jiraiya said to Naruto, and kicking a piece of rubble on the ground. "They kidnapped Hinata-chan, so I tried to kill them for real. I wasn't messing around against them," Naruto said in a serious voice, and Jiraiya could only nod as he watched the devastation in front of him. "What flames are these?" Jiraiya mused out loud, looking intently at the black flames that were burning the rock and showing no signs of stopping. "Those are Amaterasu flames," Naruto said, and Jiraiya looked at him. "They can only be summoned by a Manjikyu Sharingan and can't be extinguished by anyone except the one who summoned them in the first place. They will burn for 7 days and 7 nights. They are hot as the sun and can turn anything to ashes," Naruto explained, and Jiraiya's eyes widened. "That was some powerful Katan Jutsu right there." "You said a Manjikyu?" Jiraiya asked, and Naruto nodded. "Does that mean you can do it as well?" Jiraiya asked. That would be a major power boost to Naruto if he was able to perform this technique. "I know how it works, so I just need to try it," Naruto said, and Jiraiya nodded. "And I also know how to the other one, the Tsukuyomi," Naruto said, and Jiraiya nodded again. Naruto was becoming more and more powerful by the day, and these 2 techniques he just gained would make him deadly against anyone. "So I wasn't seeing things when you warped away with some technique," Tsunade said towards Naruto. "How can you have the Sharingan? You are no Uchiha," Tsunade stated. "Actually I have Uchiha blood," Naruto said, and Tsunade raised an eyebrow. What do you know of my father's parents? Naruto asked. He is an orphan, he never knew his parents, Tsunade replied, and Naruto smiled. He never got tired of the people's faces when he told them about his grandfather. That is not true, Naruto said, grinning at her grandmother. He knew very well who his father was and lived with him for the first 5 years of his life, Naruto said, and Tsunade concentrated on him. Don't leave me hanging, tell me, Tsunade said, and Naruto picked the fan from this back and placed it on the ground, grabbing it by the hilt. Is that? Tsunade asked, and her eyes widened when she pieced everything together. My grandfather was Uchiha Madara, Naruto said, and laughed at her expression. She was gapping like a fish out of water, and Shizen was pale as a white sheet. This was his fan and he passed it on to my father, and now it belongs to me, Naruto explained. Bibu but. Tsunade tried to say, but her voice wasn't quite reaching. Madara Jiji didn't die when he fought Hashirama Jiji and later on had a son and named him Namikaze Minato, Naruto explained. Who am I to doubt him, Tsunade thought to herself, chuckling. Until now she didn't even know Naruto was alive to begin with. How about we continue this at the hotel, Naruto suggested, and everyone nodded and left towards the hotel that Naruto had rented. Ero Senin, Naruto said, and got a tick mark from the old pervert and laughs from both women. I should warn you about the hotel, Naruto cryptically said. Hashtag back at the hotel hashtag. The hotel itself was, mostly, fine if you don't count the chunk that was missing on the right side of the building. When Naruto entered his cloaked version and sped towards Itachi and Kisame, he unleashed a shockwave that tore down almost half the building. I hate Shinobi, the owner of the hotel was yelling through the streets while trying to clean up as best as he could. Not that a broom would help much against big chunks of rock and concrete. The owner turned around only to find the one responsible for said disaster calmly walking towards him. You, the owner yelled towards the blonde, pointing at him. Look at this mess, the owner yelled. Don't worry, Naruto said, trying to calm the owner down. My godfather here will gladly pay for everything, Naruto and said, and Jiraiya's eyes widened. What? Jiraiya yelled out, grabbing Naruto by the collar of his shirt. Why should I pay? Jiraiya asked rhetorically. You were the one that blew up the hotel, Jiraiya explained. They found me and hurt Hinata because you decided to chase some tail, Naruto explained, and Jiraiya scoffed. Besides, I've seen your money book and this won't even scratch the surface, Naruto said, and Jiraiya got suspicious. How do you know that? Jiraiya asked. Always look underneath the underneath. Besides, my eyes see more than chakra, you know, Naruto said, grinning. So pay the man and let's find another place so Hinata-chan can rest properly, Naruto said, and Jiraiya reluctantly agreed. He went to his pockets only to find his wallet missing and in the hands of Tsunade, who was already negotiating with the hotel owner, making Jiraiya cry anime tears. Life is so unfair, Jiraiya thought, crying in his mind. Suddenly Naruto felt Hinata stir and looked down at her. It appeared all that noise around them woke up his sleeping beauty. She tiredly opened her eyes to find herself in the arms of Naruto. Hey there, sleepyhead, Naruto said, watching Hinata open her eyes and look at him. How are you feeling? Naruto asked. I'm good, Hinata said, and watched her surroundings. I think I can walk, Hinata said, and Naruto shook his head, denying. You just woke up, besides I like carrying you, Naruto said, and kissed her forehead, making her snuggle closer to him. Kawaii, Shizen yelled out. That's adorable, Shizen said, fawning over both of them like a fangirl. Jiraiya was scribbling furiously on his notebook, not even noticing Tsunade. If you use my grandson for your research, I'll remove the thing that makes you a man, Tsunade shouted to the heavens, and Jiraiya stiffened and quickly placed his notebook on his pockets. Have mercy, Jiraiya pleaded on his knees. Sorry, all out of mercy, Tsunade said, cracking her fingers and figuratively rolling up her sleeves. Scary. Naruto thought, watching his grandmother beat his godfather to a bloody pulp. Jiraiya was screaming and asking for her to stop, but she didn't even waver. Oh lord, the pain, Jiraiya thought. Naruto decided it was time to save his godfather from Tsunade's wrath. How about we go for dinner? Naruto asked, and Jiraiya sighed in relief when the onslaught stopped. Sounds good, Tsunade replied and kicked Jiraiya one last time where the sun doesn't shine, making wince in pain and gently nurse his manly parts. All the time he was cursing the blondes around him. Hashtag restaurant hashtag. The group found a small restaurant that had a few tables open since the others were all full due to the massive amount of tourists around town. They were all seated in a small table with Shizen, Tsunade, and Jiraiya in one side and Naruto and Hinata in the other. The menu was a few sardines with rice while Tsunade and Jiraiya were drinking sake. So brat, how is the life? Suanda asked while sipping bit of sake. She wanted to know about her grandson's life since she wasn't there for the beginning of his life. It was rough in my early years but I'm good now, Naruto said and Tsunade raised an eyebrow. Rough? Tsunade wondered what he meant exactly. Actually since the Chunin exams they stopped calling me demon and trying to kill, Naruto blurted out only for Tsunade's face to twist into one of anger. She forgot that Naruto was a Jinchuriki and she knew very well how most of them were treated in their village. Did they hurt you? Tsunade asked with so much fire in her eyes that the table slightly cracked from the pressure of her fists. Don't worry they are over it now, Naruto said calming her down. I showed them I had the Sharingan and that I belonged to the Senju clan and now they almost worship me, Naruto said shaking his head. How could they be so superficial? Naruto was a demon one day and the next he was the prince of Konoha. But I hold no grudge against them, Naruto said. You do realize that once you make Chunin you will be able to take the clan seat and will be forced into CRA, right? Tsunade asked. The CRA was the thing that drove her out of the village in the first place and when Kushina died she nothing to go back for. I'm an elite Chunin by the way and I have already refused the CRA, Naruto said chuckling. Elite Chunin, a brat like you? Where's the vest? Tsunade taunted him. I don't like wearing the vest and didn't you see what I did to those Akatsuki members? They were both Kage level shinobi, Naruto explained grinning back. Oh please that was all the Kyuubi's doing, Tsunade said waving him off. I like her, Kurama said from Naruto's mind. You like anyone that praises you, Naruto replied sweat dropping. Fine be that way, Naruto said pouting and everyone laughed. How did you refuse the CRA? Tsunade asked. It's mandatory by law, Tsunade explained. Simple. I threatened to leave the village if they forced me into it, Naruto said grinning and Tsunade chuckled. By the way Jiraiya, why are you here? Tsunade asked and Jiraiya sighed as the might be a difficult conversation. Sensei has asked us to find you and tell you that you've been chosen for Godame Hokage, Jiraiya asked and Tsunade sighed. The moment Jiraiya said Sensei wanted her to become Hokage she remembered what happened with Orochimaru. She agreed to meet with them in 1 week and if she cured her arms he would destroy Konoha. I'm going back to the village but it isn't to be Hokage, Tsunade replied and Jiraiya raised an eyebrow in confusion. Sensei sent me a letter saying Naruto was dead the night the Kyuubi attacked, Tsunade explained. What? Naruto asked. That doesn't make any sense. He was the one that told me of you in the first place, Naruto explained. Something is off here, Jiraiya said. What did the letter look like? Jiraiya asked. Normal Kage letter with his signature and stamp, Tsunade explained. The letter was long gone and she destroyed it the moment she read it. There isn't anyone else for the Hokage position, Jiraiya reasoned. How about you? Tsunade asked. My spy network is too important for the village besides, I'm not the type of man to be behind a desk 8 hours a day, Jiraiya replied. I'm not becoming Hokage, it's a fool's job, Tsunade said and Naruto subconsciously activated his Sharingan and started glaring at Tsunade. How dare you say that? Naruto asked. Hashiramajiji, Tobaramajiji, my father, all of our family took the Hokage position and died defending the village they love, Naruto was explaining. Exactly, they all died for nothing, Tsunade said. They died protecting the village they loved and we should continue their legacy and protect the village they created, Naruto said but Tsunade seemed reluctant to agree until a devious thought crossed Naruto's mind. How about a bet? Naruto asked and Jiraiya smirked. What kind of bet? Tsunade asked focused on Naruto. You and me outside. If I kick your ass you return to the village and become Hokage, Naruto said and Tsunade pondered. He's just a genin, Tsunade thought. I agree but if you lose I'll get all of your money and no Kyuubi, Tsunade said. I agree, Naruto replied. Let's take it outside then, Tsunade said and they all walked outside to the middle of the street. This was all going so well, Hinata said sighing and both Jiraiya and Shizen agreed. #outside #. On the outside Naruto and Tsunade were facing each other while Jiraiya, Shizen and Hinata were at the side watching. Last time to back out, Tsunade said giving him a chance. I never give up and I never surrender because, to be Hokage, is my dream, Naruto said with unbreakable fire behind his eyes. Sharingan eyes for that matter. Tsunade smirked and she swore she saw a visage of Nawaki behind Naruto. Do as you wish, if you win I'll throw in this necklace as well, Tsunade and Shizen's jaw dropped as well Jiraiya's. Hashirama's necklace Naruto mused. Let's go then, Naruto said as he took his stance. Tsunade, I should warn you. Jiraiya was saying but was cut off. Please Jiraiya, I can take care of a Genin, Tsunade said smirking. Even if he is an elite Chunin I still got him, Tsunade said. Even though she didn't say it, she wanted Naruto to win but she wasn't going to make things easy. It's ironic, Hinata said and got confused faces from everyone. The descendants of Hashirama and Madara are facing each other again, Hinata said and they chuckled. Very true, Jiraiya replied and all of them focused on the fight. Tsunade didn't have any stance, she was just standing there with her arms on her waist. Naruto was eyeing her carefully with his Sharingan blazing. Deciding to try and scare her off a little he made his Sharingan start spinning very slowly. Tsunade watched carefully his spinning constantly checking for chakra anomalies in her chakra network to look out for genjutsu. Naruto started speeding off his Sharingan until it started mutating slightly. Eventually the Sharingan started to slow down and the normal pattern was long gone and replaced by deep black eyes with a broken red circle with 3 circles in them. A Manjikyu? Tsunade wondered in thought as she watched Naruto's eyes very carefully. She dropped the carefree attitude and took a basic stance. She may never have faced an Uchiha with a Manjikyu but her father had warned about the powers those eyes had and that they weren't to be taken lightly. Tsukuyomi, Naruto said and Tsunade's eyes widened just before her world disappeared and was replaced by Naruto's Tsukuyomi world. What is this? Tsunade asked as she walked around Naruto's world. Welcome to my strongest genjutsu, Naruto said popping out of nowhere and standing in front of Tsunade. In here I'm God and I control everything, even time itself. 3 days here are but 3 seconds on the real world, Naruto explained and Tsunade realized in just what mess she was. This is the second time I tried this jutsu and my control still sucks, but it should be enough to hold you, Naruto said and Tsunade got pinned to a cross and Naruto stood there in front of her with a sword. What are you going to do? Tsunade asked. She didn't want to believe Naruto would torture her. I'm going to make you laugh to death, Naruto said chuckling evilly and the sword was replaced by a feather. Naruto started using his feather on Tsunade's sensitive spots. Tsunade bit her lips and tried to hold it but she couldn't. Tsunade bursted out laughing and crying as she couldn't hold the tears. Ha 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 ha, Tsunade broke out laughing and crying, she could barely breathe. She wanted to bend over since her stomach hurt but she couldn't as she was pinned to the stake. Muhh, Naruto laughed evilly at the sight of Tsunade. A/N, check out Barney's evil laugh to get an idea www. YouTube watch, V=CFG7SNRXS. Hashtag real world, 3 seconds later hashtag. On the outside all of the viewers were oblivious to what was happening. They all heard Naruto call out his genjutsu but they didn't know if Tsunade was caught as they were just staring at each other. Suddenly Tsunade fell to her knees breathing heavily with her eyes puffy red and one could see dried tears in her face. Damn brat, Tsunade said back in the real world as she crouched to regain her breathing. Naruto just grinned back at her. It was just by miracle that Tsunade didn't pass out. What did he do? Jiraiya asked curious. He made me laugh for 72 hours straight, Tsunade said and everyone's sweat dropped. That was a peculiar use for a genjutsu. I'll get you for that, Tsunade said before she started dashing towards Naruto with her fist cocked. She's using chakra in her fist, Naruto thought as he watched her approaching with his EMS activated. He brought his fan from his back and placed it in front of him. He grabbed the hilt with one hand and the other end with the other hand. That's not going to help, Tsunade and slammed her fist hard into the fan. The moment her fist collided the fan, it was like a large bell echoing through the streets. The entire ground shook but Naruto held his ground. His fan didn't crack or waver. Tsunade was flabbergasted that the fan was still in one piece. She didn't even put a dent in that thing. It was true that she wasn't using her strength to the max but that punch was enough to bring down a wall and yet the fan was still in one piece. Naruto flexed his fan and unleashed a current of air making Tsunade jump back and gain some distance. Naruto placed his left hand in the tiger seal preparing to unleash a fire jutsu when he was interrupted by Jiraiya. Stop Naruto, Jiraiya yelled and both turned to him. Don't use ninjutsu in the middle of the street baka, Jiraiya explained and Naruto nodded. Naruto took out a 3-pronged kunai and threw it at Tsunade who watched it approach very carefully. The moment the kunai was about to pass next to her head Tsunade caught it by the handle and started spinning it around her fingers. That wasn't a smart move, Naruto said and Tsunade raised an eyebrow. And why not? Tsunade asked. Did you notice that kunai isn't ordinary? Naruto asked with a grin and made Tsunade stop spinning the kunai and look at it carefully, and she noticed that it was a three-pronged kunai with kanji on the handle. He couldn't have, Tsunade thought just before she saw a bright yellow flash. She was about to turn around when she felt Naruto kicking her ass, making her jump in the air and nurse her rear. "The hell are you doing?" Tsunade asked, nursing her butt. "I win, Bachan," Naruto said, grinning with his foxy smirk. "Care to explain how that is?" Tsunade asked. "I said I would win if I kicked your ass, and I did just that," Naruto said, grinning, and started laughing at the faces of everyone when the realization hit them all. "You tricked me," Tsunade said, shaking her head. She couldn't win a damn bet to save her life. Hinata just shook her head. She knew Naruto was very devious and sneaky, probably having a fox sealed inside of him increased his cunning as well. She should have seen that coming. "I did no such thing," Naruto innocently replied. "You agreed to the bet, so will you come back with us to the village and become our Hokage?" Naruto asked. Tsunade sighed in defeat and surprisingly relief. She walked calmly to Naruto and kneeled in front of him. She undid her necklace and wrapped it around Naruto's neck, kissing his forehead. "Become a great Hokage like your Bachan," Tsunade said, placing her hand above his necklace and his heart. Naruto just smiled and hugged her. "I'm glad it all worked out for the best," Jiraiya said and turned to Tsunade. "Do I get a kiss too, or perhaps a hug?" Jiraiya asked, wiggling his eyebrows, and proceeded to be buried by Tsunade and her fists. Next day. After last night's battle, everyone got together and went to a hotel to spend the night. It was a pain in the ass for Tsunade to allow Naruto and Hinata to sleep together, but in the end she caved, but warned them that they were too young for kids. They were all together eating breakfast silently when Tsunade remembered something. "Naru-chan, why were you fighting those two yesterday anyway?" Tsunade asked, and Naruto sighed before starting his explanation. "Don't call me that, it sounds girly," Naruto whined, and Tsunade smirked. "I like Naru-chan, it sounds better than Whiskers-kun," Hinata said, giggling, making Naruto glare at her. Naruto sighed before starting. "According to Erosenin, there is an organization called Akatsuki made up by S-rank criminals, and they are after the bijus," Naruto explained, and Tsunade's eyes widened. It wasn't very common to see Kage-level shinobi working together. They are rumored to have 10 members. Orochimaru used to belong to them until he betrayed them. For now I only know of Uchiha Itachi, Hashigaki Kisame, Sasori of the Red Sand, and Deidara, the Mad Bomber. They are all S-rank, Jiraiya explained. "By the way, Hinata-chan," Naruto said, turning to her. "How did they catch you?" Naruto asked. Flashback, Naruto and Hinata had just parted ways with Jiraiya since he went towards the woman that blinked his way. They were both going towards the hotel when Hinata felt a chakra presence nearby. She activated her Byakugan and scanned the nearby roofs, trying to pinpoint the signature. It turned out to be a big mistake. Since Hinata activated her Byakugan, her vision became almost 360 degrees, which meant she couldn't help but to not see a pair of blood-red Sharingan eyes. It was just a small glimpse before Hinata broke the genjutsu it was placed on her, but it was good enough to distract her and allow a shadow clone to perform a substitution with her. Hinata was now facing two people which had long black cloaks with red clouds in them, and they were both wearing straw hats. The moment she was replaced and stood facing both of them, Kisame dashed towards her and tried to kick her in the chest to end this quickly. Hinata turned to the right, sidestepping the kick, and, charging her hands with chakra, she tried a Juken strike to his right shoulder. The attack connected, but Kisame remained impassive. Hinata analyzed him with her Byakugan and noticed that her strike wasn't laced with chakra when she obviously charged it with. Hinata noticed that the sword had an active chakra network, as if it was alive. Did the sword absorb the chakra? Hinata thought. "What do you want?" Hinata asked as she took the basic taijutsu stance. "Let me play with her, Itachi-san," Kisame said. Itachi said nothing and took a few steps away from both of them. Itachi focused his attention on the faraway hotel. "What do you want with me?" Hinata asked again. "Nothing. What we want is the Kyubi brat," Kisame said, grinning, and Hinata knew that these two belonged to the Akatsuki and were most likely Kage-level shinobi. She knew she wouldn't stand much of a chance, but she wouldn't go down without a fight. Hinata flared her Byakugan and Kisame laughed and picked up his sword still wrapped in bandages. Hinata made a few hand seals and disabled her gravity seals and stood ready to face them. Kisame started grinning like a madman and tried a sword slash on Hinata to knock her away. She ducked under the swing. Kisame, using the momentum of his sword, tilted his body and tried to kick her again. Hinata sidestepped the kick and jumped in the air. Hinata placed the hands on his leg supporting herself and kicked Kisame in the face, knocking him back. Kisame got up pissed he got it and ran forward where Hinata was waiting in her defensive stance. He quickly arrived and they exchanged a flurry of blows, but Hinata was far too slippery and fast for the slow and wide movements of Kisame, and his sword wasn't helping. Kisame was becoming more and more pissed. He placed the sword on his back and decided to engage the girl purely on taijutsu. It was a big mistake and Itachi just shook his head. Itachi could clearly see that Hinata had the advantage in taijutsu. She may seem small and weak, but that was compensated by her agility and speed. "Stay still," Kisame yelled as he couldn't even scratch her. If it was ninjutsu she would already been dead, but they couldn't use it because it may alert Jiraiya or Naruto. Hinata was supposed to be used as leverage. Hinata ducked under a punch and gave him a juken strike on his right leg, making him kneel. Kisame tried a right hook and Hinata caught it with her left hand and gave him a juken strike right to his hearth, destroying his hearth. "Bitch," Kisame said and shakily placed his hands on the sword to get healed. Hinata heard the comment and kicked him where the sun doesn't shine, making Kisame's eyes pop out of his sockets. Even Itachi cringed and shivered when he saw that. Hinata felt a presence behind and turned just to see Itachi give a kick to her shoulder. She got hit and the force of the kick made her turn towards Kisame, who had his sword ready, and slammed it against Hinata, making her fly into the ground. She crashed and was instantly knocked out. "She was a slippery bitch," Kisame said, huffing at her. "I'm tired of telling you to not underestimate your enemies. But you decided to engage in taijutsu against a Hyuga," Itachi said, sighing. "You do realize that if you didn't have that sword, you would have died, right?" Itachi asked, and Kisame scoffed. "Look at her, she's all small and skinny. It looks like she might break at any time," Kisame said, pointing at her. "Deception is a ninja's greatest weapon. She may look frail, but her skill is at least elite Jounin level, bordering Kage level," Itachi said, and he remembered the battle with his Sharingan. "Give it a couple of years and she will become a force to be reckoned with in taijutsu," Itachi explained. "Fine, I get it. Let's just get the brat, he can't be much more difficult than her," Kisame said, and towards Hinata, to pick her up, and then heads towards Naruto. End flashback. "Damn those two," Naruto said, clenching his fists. "Next time they will die," Naruto said. "It was my fault, Naruto-kun. I got caught in the first place and then ignored Itachi thinking he wouldn't interfere," Hinata explained, sighing. "Tsunade-sama," Hinata called out, and she focused on her. "Could you train me in the medical arts?" "I always wanted to become a combat medic," Hinata asked. She always had an interest in poisons, antidotes and medicine. "I'm surprised to see a Hyuga ask," Tsunade replied, surprised. "I've tried many times in the past to have Hyugas as medics due to the Byakugan, but the Hyuga clan couldn't lower itself to practice medicine," Tsunade said, scoffing. "Are you sure Hayashi will allow it?" Tsunade asked, and Hinata shifted uncomfortably. "I don't belong to the Hyuga clan anymore," Hinata replied.